ago. And a Romanian man back in those days decided that jet propulsion would work, but nobody was interested in it. They all wanted reciprocating or piston engines like we have in our cars. But the operation of a jet engine is really keep that nose off the ground and gently pull back on the yoke or the stick to touch down very gently. Then they will keep the nose wheel off the ground as long as possible to help slow it down. This is called aerodynamic braking. The pilot has a side stick controller in this airplane that only moves about 1/4 of an inch, and it takes a lot of finesse to be able to handle it, slowly letting the wheels down, the other one on short final just over the numbers. We'll see more of that later on today. Ladies and gentlemen, the 148th Fighter Wing of the Minnesota Air National Guard. Let's give the F-16 Fighting Falcons a nice round of applause. And I may have said something about a C-model P-51 Mustang, and I did not mean to say that. I meant to say a C-model F-16, the newest model of the single-seat F-16 Fighting Falcon. And in 1960, Hawker Aircraft did that in Great Britain with 2 different airplanes, the P-1127 and the Kestrel. Well, it became a very important aircraft, not only for the Royal Navy, but also your United States Marine Corps. It has become an airplane known as the AV-8B Harrier. And I'd like to welcome a gentleman from Cherry Point Marine Corps Air Station in North Carolina. And he's Captain John Ricks. And John, a pleasant good afternoon to you. We've got an airplane out there that's going to be launching here. That's going to be launching in a couple of minutes as soon as we get the jet truck clear of the runway and get them out there. Redirect the jet exhaust to what's about 60 degrees? 60 degrees, that's correct. And take off a 30,000-pound airplane with only a couple of hundred. Right there. So ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw was what we call an accelerating transition. What Lieutenant Colonel Hutchins did with the power full up in the corner, he hit about 60 knots, brought those nozzles down to 60 degrees, that blasted the jet off the earth, and then he slowly begins nozzling those nozzles out, and he's going to come back in front of you at about 500 knots and 300 feet. 500 knots is going to be about 575 miles per hour. Not only are there 2 nozzles with jet exhaust, but 2 more nozzles just in front of the wing, or even with the front of the wing, with bleed air from those big air intakes to give it a 4-poster bed ride. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at your United States Marine Corps' AV-8B Harrier. As Lieutenant Colonel Hutchins breaks to the left there, this aircraft is capable of G tolerances anywhere from -3 all the way to 8 Gs. That's 8 times the force of gravity that Lieutenant Colonel Hutchins is fighting right there. So if he weighs 200 pounds, 8 Gs means 8 times 200. He weighs 1,600 pounds. That takes a lot of work. Now, when it went by, John, I saw some things. Well, take a look. Look under the wings, ladies and gentlemen. What do they call those things under the wings? Under the wings are where we carry our ordnance and our targeting capabilities. We've done a lot to the Harrier over the last couple of years, and we were one of the first squadrons when we were over on deployment this past year. We carried up to 6 precision-guided munitions on those stores in combat. Nobody in the world likes to see
One member of the press called it the blood-sucking devil plane. But let's see if we can say hi to Jerry. Hello, Jerry Conley. This is Rob Ryder. Can you hear me, partner? Hello, Jerry Conley. Are you up there?
Hey, Rob. How you doing today, buddy?
Gotcha now, Jerry. Thanks for popping up over here. We're doing good. Well, you've flown both of the Vampires, but this one's yours, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like to fly in an airplane that goes back over almost 70 years.
Well, you're very mindful that you're flying something made of wood built by the lowest bidder during the war.
Now, wait a minute. The airplane's built of wood?
The entire front fuselage was built by de Havilland Aircraft during World War II in 1943. By the same company built the Mosquito fighter bomber.
Yeah, the Mosquito fighter bomber was one that had a lot of balsa wood and plywood, some of which was actually manufactured in this country and shipped over. Well, I'm hoping you got a good sponsor with a wood airplane.
Orkin.
Are you serious? One wishes. All right, let's see what kind of a pass we got and how fast are you going, Jerry?
415, this will be a 4-point roll.
Now let's watch the nose come up. He'll stop at every 90 degrees of rotation. Left knife edge 90, inverted 90, right knife edge 90 degrees forward, and stopping then at 360 degrees of rotation. All right, partner, what's next?
We're going to take her in for a nice inverted pass for the crowd. Bring her back around.
Now, is this an aircraft, and since it's an early jet, I'm guessing that you have to be exceptionally careful of how much time you remain upside down.
They have inverted fuel for about 15 seconds.
All right, well, we'll help you not exceed that, okay?
That sounds like a good plan there, Rob.
Now, well, by the way, while you were in the Air Force, if you don't mind talking while you're flying upside down, what did you do in the United States Air Force?
I was a combat specialist, basically an SP, space defense.
All right, now the airplane goes over on its back and holds. Jerry, there are a number of different models of the Vampire that were produced, but am I correct in saying there are only a couple flying in the world?
We have this aircraft, and one more coming online.
Believe it or not, they were able to do it. Men from the 17th Bomb Group, the first unit to handle and fly the B-25 Mitchell bomber, were asked to undertake a mission by the gentleman who was assigned to lead it, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle. And the aircraft they used is now approaching from the right. This one being flown by the Missouri wing of the Commemorative Air Force. This is the B-25 Mitchell bomber. Jimmy Doolittle went to the men of the 1779, and they began training in the B-25 Mitchell bomber to take off in as short a distance as possible. It normally took between a third and a half a mile to launch a 28,000-pound bomber. Goya, made of Kobe and Yokohama. But some 600 miles farther out from the coast of Japan, the carrier fleet was discovered by a Japanese picket boat, and they feared that their security and their ability to hide and launch was then lost. They were given the opportunity to strike the mission. He's from Rolla, Missouri. That's his home. But we see the B-25 right now, called Show Me, representing the aircraft of the Doolittle raid, the air mission against which all other air missions have been measured.
What an aircraft! performance gets me every time. I just love it.
Yeah, the B-25 is one of over 9,600 that were made by North American Aviation. A number of different models, but this is the definitive one, the J, the B-25J. And the guys who are flying it from the Commemorative Air Force are also very proud to be flying for the DAV. The DAV, what does it do?
The DAV, its mission is fulfilling the promises to the men and women who serve. And that's not just a slogan. That's what we do day in and day out, Rob. We're here to help veterans every way we can. Transportation, advocacy in front of the VA. These claims that the veterans have, they've already paid the price for them. And they are heroes. We want to help them every way we can. So we're here to spread that message. And we want everyone out there to spread that message. If you know a veteran that needs help, tell them to contact dav.org. Get the help right there in their local area.
And if you want to know more, you can come right down to Show Left, Extreme Show Left, right off the nose of the big C-130 Hercules aircraft, the big gray one with the tall tail, and they can meet you and Mike and the rest of the gang there, and even maybe take a peek at a tour, perhaps, of the Show Me B-25?
Absolutely. Stick your head inside that and imagine what it must have been like for those heroes back in World War II. The DAV is so proud to sponsor this aircraft and help keep this history alive, and we're so proud to help veterans. We need all your help out there, so tell a veteran where to go for help and come down and see us.
Thank you, Lynn May. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of... Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce my buddy, Lieutenant Jason Trembath, call sign Bobble, and the FA-18 Super Hornet demonstration. Hello, partner.
Hey, how's it going again, Rob?
Doing great, Bobble. You got an airplane down there almost ready to take off, all the way from Naval Air Station Lemoore.
Absolutely, sir. All the way from Naval Air Station Lemoore on behalf of Naval Air Station Lemoore, Commander of Strike Fighter Wing Pacific, and the Commander of Strike Fighter Squadron 122. We'd like to welcome everyone to visit and see.
Right now, about 615 miles an hour. 750 miles an hour.
750 miles an hour. How do you like this Super Hornet, Duluth? Oh yeah, what's next?
Well, right now it's carrying enough speed that right now Lieutenant Jackwood right now is in idle as he climbed all the way up to over a mile high, bringing the nose right on back down.
Oh my!
And then once he levels it out, he's going to bring it right in front of us today from the left, and he's going to set up for the vertical pirouette this time.
So oh, look at that. Coming down fast. So he's done a split S, is that correct?
Effectively, it's a vertical abrupt pull over us. So here at 350 miles an hour, he's going to go ahead and select the nose, go to the near vertical, basically bring the canopy to its crash. About 110 degrees of rotation from straight vertical to a negative 10 degrees, doing negative 3 Gs the entire time. Re-accelerating about 250 miles an hour and doing the vertical pirouette, rearranging his nose from here vertically up, so straight back down.
You said it has redundant fly-by-wire flight control systems.
Yeah, those dual flight control computers there will basically reorient 12 different flight control services, giving Lobster absolute great authority with its aircraft.
So from there, we actually saw earlier, we saw a loop when the Vanguard Squadron did their formation loop. We're gonna do this one a little differently, Bobble.
Absolutely, Rob. We're not going to cut any corners on this loop today. We're going to go ahead and do a square loop tonight.
A square loop?
Absolutely. You're going to see Lobster and Skinny Jeans basically set up right in front at about 350 miles an hour, stroke max AB, 44,000 pounds of thrust, and basically squat the jet and making 4 distinct corners all the way around.
All right, let's watch. We'll see a pull to the vertical at 90 degrees, nose up. Let's look for the last 90. air war over Europe and in the Pacific would have enough airplanes to fly, to fight, and to win. They flew more than 47,000 raids by the U.S. 8th Air Force in daylight raids over Germany. Shells that were being launched at them up at that altitude, in excess sometimes of 25,000 feet above the ground. The German Luftwaffe fighters would choose the stragglers, the easy targets, and knock them out of the sky. But yet on they traveled, enduring all the obstacles set against them, because they knew that our freedom and our liberty was worth fighting and dying for. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Arizona wing of the Commemorative Air Force, this is the B-17 Flying Fortress. Travis Major and the other crew members of the B-17 Sentimental Journey will be back behind us after the show. And for a nominal donation, you can get a chance to get inside that very piece of history that we see here. As I mentioned, only about a dozen still flying anywhere in the world today. And this is considered the most authentic of any of the B-17s that are out there. In some cases, the top turret may have the bubble there, but the actual mechanics for the top turret, in which a crew member would stand and use like a game controller to turn back and forth and aim the guns up and down to shoot at oncoming aircraft to defend itself, that's still there. The tail gunner, who had to crawl back past the tail wheel through a small tunnel to get in that tail position to protect the rear of the aircraft. The ball turret gunner underneath, usually the smallest member of the crew. And in the most very, very dangerous position, was able to sit underneath to fire straight down or 360 degrees laterally around. But if there was a problem with that ball turret, and if there was a problem with the landing gear on landing, and it did happen, that ball turret gunner, and in some case it had happened, lost his life when it landed on its belly, killing that ball turret gunner. Yet they still chose to fight for our freedom. I hope you will join me as I share this bit of information that I've heard and quoted so many times before. It is the soldier and not the poet who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier and not the reporter who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier and not the campus organizer who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. And it is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who gives the protester the right to burn the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a round of applause for all who have served in defense of our country: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. Here comes the B-17, the most authentic of the B-17s, still flyable in the country today. If you get a chance to watch the movie Memphis Belle or the movie 12 O'Clock High, you might get a little bit of an understanding of what it was like to be a crew member in one of these airplanes.